One of the biggest traps in awakening is, ironically, the belief that you're trapped. People crack the surface of the illusion and suddenly see the suffering, the cycles, the confusion, and they say, "This must be a prison. There are evil beings feeding on our negative energy. We're batteries. This is the Matrix." But if you've already seen that reality isn't what it appears, how can you use the appearance of suffering as proof that it's malevolent? If everything is an illusion, how can you use the illusion to prove the illusion? It's a beautiful little knot of cognitive dissonance. Let's untangle it. Before we get into this video, I would just like to say that at no point I am claiming that I'm definitely right and you're definitely wrong. If you believe in the prison planet idea, that's absolutely fine. I'm just sharing what I believe based on my own personal experiences with altered states, which has been a lifelong journey with astral projection, lucid dreaming and psychedelics. Also just having a lifelong obsession with philosophy and questioning the nature of reality. This is a culmination of all of that, but I'm just one person trying to figure all of this out, just like you are. And your ideas and opinions are equally as valid. This is just my view on the great mystery. So without further ado, let's get into it. I want to start by making this as clear as possible. The veil that separates you from Source is made of fear. The veil is separation. When you're here in animal form, wrapped in flesh and nerves and vulnerability, the experiences are visceral. That's the point. You feel fragile, threatened and mortal. From inside that nervous system, it's easy, almost inevitable to conclude, only an insane God would create this. This must be a trap. But suffering isn't evidence of a prison. It's the price of admission for a particular kind of experience. Outside the veil, beyond the animal costume, there is only infinite love. So if you want to experience separateness and individuality, you must immerse in the illusion of fear and pain and suffering. It's the only way to simulate distance from the infinite. From inside it, it feels very serious. But from the outside of it, the whole thing is recognized as nothing but theatre. I'm definitely not dismissing or romanticizing pain. I'm explaining its function. Pain and fear are the mechanics that allow a limitless consciousness to feel limited, to be a someone instead of all that is. Think of it as the haptic feedback of incarnation. The moment you exit the body, when the nervous system powers down and the filtering ends, you realize you were never deceived, never in danger. The pain was an appearance, a convincing one generated by a body meant to convince you. And you remember the real you. It's like rage quitting a video game, storming off in a sulk, and then 2 minutes later you're laughing. Why did I take that so seriously? It's just a game. But the immersion was the point. The intensity was the point. The forgetting was the point. Without any of that, the game would be boring. So when someone says, "I've woken up, I see through the illusion, this is a Gnostic prison planet," I have to ask, if everything is an illusion, how can you use the illusion itself as proof? That's not really awakening, it's fear wearing the mask of knowledge. Right now there's a Gnostic conspiracy meme spreading that the after-death experience is an astral honey trap. Lights and guides intercept your soul and manipulate you into reincarnation. It teaches people to mistrust love, avoid surrender, and suspect the light itself. I see it the other way around entirely. When you have an NDE, or when you die, you don't learn something new, you remember. You become your omnipotent, omniscient, immortal self. In that state, deception simply isn't possible, because there is nothing other than you with any power to deceive you. The theatrics people witness, the tunnel, the loved ones, the life review, are not a con. They're a self-orchestrated reminder, a gentle reorientation after a long dream. You consent to it because you are the one doing it to yourself. You're not judged, you're not tricked, you willingly enter the life review. You willingly remember, you willingly experience everything because you're returning to truth, and truth wants to remember itself. The idea that you're being forced to do anything vanishes the instant you step out of the body and step back into who you truly are. From that place, there's no such thing as manipulation. It is impossible. The soul trap idea teaches people to distrust the divine, fear love, avoid surrender, and see deception where there is only reflection. It's the final trick of the ego. Don't go into the light. They're trying to control you. But the truth is, you are the light. The only thing that has ever been controlling you was fear. The ego loves specialness. It loves the flavor of secret knowledge that says, everyone else is duped, but I see the sinister gears. It's seductive because fear feels like clarity when you're inside it. But it isn't clarity. It's separation performing intelligence. I had a psychedelic experience that cracked it open for me. I remembered that I am immortal, infinite consciousness. We all are. We are one consciousness experiencing itself, wearing masks so it can play its own game. After I integrated that realization fully into my life, and began more and more to self-identify with the infinite rather than my flesh and ego, my astral projection journeys changed completely. I realized it's all theatre. All the beings, all the landscapes are all me. As that recognition stabilized, my journeys became directed and lucid. I wasn't being tossed around by random scenarios. I was the director. The set pieces were mine. The dialogues were mine. And with that came an unshakable knowing. In your true form, you cannot be deceived. There is no way, unless you choose to deceive yourself. And that's what becoming human is. Self-deception in service of experience. The infinite tries everything. Humans, dogs, cats, snails, earthworms, snakes, microbes, bacteria, fungus, trees, and everything else. Because the infinite is infinite. It does everything. You are part of that unfolding. But in the intervals between roles, when you are simply your true self, you are connected to Source, and you can literally become Source whenever you want. You can also incarnate whenever you want, or not. But as eternity is a long time, you will. So, where do malevolent entities fit? Here's my take. Anything that appears separate from you gains power through your investment in fear. Inside the veil, that fear feels real because your body was engineered to make it feel real. Outside the veil, those beings can only be what they've always been, reflections. They're not puppet masters. They're mirrors showing you the parts of yourself you've refused to own. This is why the "they're feeding on your louche" narrative falls apart from the vantage of remembrance. It presumes otherness has independent power, but from the infinite clear view of your true self, otherness is a mode of play, like characters in a dream, frightening while you dream it, harmless when you wake up. When you integrate this truth, you never experience a malevolent entity again, not in life, on psychedelics, astral projection, or anywhere else. Let's talk about the life review. So many people experience life reviews during near-death experiences or ego death. But it isn't a tribunal, it's a debrief. You sit in yourself as yourself, and you see the role you played from every single angle, how your actions felt for you and for others, not to punish you, not to shame you, but to complete the experience. From that vantage, you meet every scene of your life with love and gratitude. Even the suffering, especially the suffering. Why? Because you're seeing it through elevated consciousness, through love that wants to know itself through every texture, including terror and tenderness and all the messy human in between. People come back from NDEs with that unmistakable knowing, oh yeah, that's what this is. That is the great remembering. It's not learning something new, and certainly not an astral mugging. The experience of life is so convincing, because otherwise you're still the infinite, looking at a painting of separation and saying, that's pretty. You don't want pretty, you want contact, you want stakes, you want the thump of a heartbeat, the ache of loss, the tremor of fear, the skin prickle of danger. You want visceral texture, because texture is how the infinite field of love generates something like a self. To be someone, you have to forget being everything. To forget, you need a veil strong enough to hold, and a body vivid enough to believe. If the veil was even a fraction thinner, it wouldn't fool you for a second. And the fact that people wake up in droves all over the world across cultures, time periods and languages proves that. The fact that you are here, questioning all of this, shows the veil needs to be as thick as it is, because even in spite of its thickness, you're still seeing through it. I'll leave you with this. No, I don't believe this is a Gnostic prison planet. It's a theatre with a very convincing set of props. The veil is fear, separation is the script, but the producer, director, cast and audience are all you. When the lights come up and you step into the foyer of infinity, you laugh and say, that was interesting, what's next? What's next is whatever you want, because you are the light you were told to fear, and the only thing that ever controlled you was forgetting. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.